Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Professor Ming's Strategic Insights. President Trump has returned to his Oval Office for 1 year by now. And it has been 9 months, or a little bit more than 9 months, ever since he launched the Trade War 2.0 in April 2025. Although that Communist China has been the main target of this trade war, but in the end of last year, 2025, China has recorded a record-breaking trade surplus of $1 trillion. Yes, you hear me right, $1 trillion. So what does it mean for Trump's trade war? Does it mean that he lost a trade war or what? So it's something that's worth scrutiny. Remember a few months ago when we talked about this trade war 1.0 started at 2018. In the end, the Communist China concluded that they did not lose the war. Although they did not say that have won it, but they said they did not lose it. This time, they're even more cautious. They never claim a victory or never claim it victorious. They say, well, we're on equal footing and things like that. But a Mr. Ding from Institute of World Development Research Center of the State Council. State Council is the executive branch of the Chinese government. Well, he says something very differently. This Mr. Ding has a clear official status, holds a senior position, and is representative figure. So I guess his words can be used as a clue to interpret what really means by Chinese government when they talk about this trade war. Mr. Ding says, it can be said that China has won the trade war and the United States has lost completely. Why does he say so? Well, he made several observations to support his argument. First, he says, the United States manufacturing has not rebounded since the trade war, or since the onset of the trade war. Second, the United States' effort to reshore manufacturing to the United States have not been successful. And thirdly, he noticed that there's no substantial increase in the output of United States manufacturing. And then fourthly, the unemployment rate remains high. And lastly, most importantly, there's $1 trillion trade surplus in China's foreign trade last year. So here comes a question. If the trade war or the tariff war is so effective on other countries, how come it doesn't work for China, for Communist China? Several reasons are offered. First one is United States dependency on Chinese goods or the goods manufactured by China is so high. And the imposition of high tariffs on China goods or Chinese goods will cause a decrease in supply. And then they will eventually lead to inflation and shortage. It's also because that the United States had been promoting the so-called offshoring of production to reduce costs and gain higher profits. But this also led to bitter consequence of industrial hollowing out. And then it greatly weakens the United States' tenacity in terms of its industrial structure. And secondly, the United States relies on China's rare earth almost 100%. So it deals a heavy blow to United States industrial manufacturing when China exercises export control on rare earth. And that's the second point. And question number 3 is China has been trying very hard to reduce its reliance or its dependence on the U.S. market. Prior to the year 2008, the United States market takes up more than 20% of China's foreign trade, export and import together. If the United States closed its market at that time, it will deal a heavy blow on China's economy. But things are quite different after 15, 20 years. Now that the ratio, China's dependency on United States markets ratio has dropped to 11%, so it's much more bearable than before. That also means that the tariff war will cause less damage on China's economy this time. And for compensation, China has shifted a good part of its export volume to countries on the Belt Road program, or Belt Road Initiative. It takes up more than 47% of the total export volume. And fourthly, do you still remember the Made in China 2025 initiative I mentioned to you about 1 year ago? Well, according to this essay, the Made in China 2025 initiative outlined a 10-year program or 10-year plan for the independent development of China's technology, which made a great contribution to China's export capability. Okay, now, if the Chinese communists do not say victory or do not claim victory in this trade war, how do they describe it? Well, officially, they say this: there will be no winners or no winners in the trade war, and they don't want to see the outbreak of trade war. But if the United States insists upon imposing one, then China is ready to fight to the end. They refrain from declaring victorious or victory, and on the other hand, they say it's important to maintain their own position or to exercise patience. And sometimes they'll go a little bit further to say that things like, well, we can hold on, or perseverance is success, or even things like we have confidence in resolving the issues. So that also means, well, we are on the winning side, although they say it quite indirectly. But the implication is quite clear. Well, the strongest expression I've heard so far is China can stand on equal footing with the United States from now on. Isn't that clear enough? Well, so much for the propaganda. The trade war is still there. It's not over. It's still in the air. So there's still many questions to be resolved. Let me just mention a few. The first question is still the tariffs. They're still there. Would they be reduced? Would they be adjusted? Or what? Or would they be raised to an even higher level? We don't know. That's something has to be solved, and it has to have a long-term arrangement for that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the export control of substance or material or even products of strategic significance, such as rare earth or high-end chips or dual-use equipments. It applies to both countries, on the China side and also on the United States side. The third question is the non-tariff barriers, such as the regulatory systems. Again, it's on the both sides. And the fourth question is the trade surpluses and trade deficits. Just how high a trade deficit can the United States forbear, or how high a trade surplus that China wants. And it has to do with the restructuring of the supply chain. Will there be a complete non-red supply chain in the world, or a mixture of a little bit of everything? That's yet to be solved. And then there are extended questions such as fentanyl. Will China exercise stronger control on its export of fentanyl? Or will the United States impose even higher tariffs on fentanyl-related material against China? So all these problems remain to be solved in the future. And the last thing is, of course, the negotiation framework. What kind of framework or what kind of arrangement will there be for negotiations in the future? So, it's no easy task to claim a victory or a conclusion to the trade war between the two countries. But before we conclude today's discussion, there's one more point I'd like to make. Remember the Taiwan issue? The point is, will China try to bundle the Taiwan issue with the trade war or with the tariff war? For instance, when President Trump visits Beijing next year, and Xi Jinping tells him by saying that, look, I'd like to make some concessions to you in trade war. If you can alter your wording a little bit on the Taiwan issue, well, forget about do not support Taiwan independence. Can you say the United States opposes Taiwan independence, and I'll make a big concession to you? How does it sound to you? Well, imagine, if you were in President Trump's shoes, how would you respond? Well, I don't know, but I think that's all I want to share with you today. I hope you like it. And please subscribe if you haven't done so. Please remember to click the icon bell so that you can get an on-time notification. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.